Hello again, world. This is Michael G. Nastos for WDEE-TV Headline News coming to you from our studios today in Ypsilanti, Michigan. We are sharing Michigan with the world in these top 5 stories for this Friday, October 3rd, 2014. Our number 1 story today comes from the Ypsilanti Courier and co-writers Crystal Elliott and Nicole Seguin. Electricians, police, and school officials are investigating after a 13-year-old boy was shocked by a fence that was electrified at a football game at Lincoln High School Tuesday evening. Michigan State Police and Huron Valley ambulance responders went to the incident and found the boy, who was unresponsive, at approximately 8:14 p.m. September 30th. A press release from the Michigan State Police said the incident occurred while a middle school football game was being played on the Lincoln High School football field. The boy was playing catch with the football with several others. When the ball was thrown over a nearby fence, the boy went to retrieve it and was shocked by the fence, which was somehow electrified by a nearby power source. There is no electric fence at the field. An adult attempting to check the boy's pulse was also shocked and was treated by EMS, but he refused transport to the hospital. No football team players or spectators at that game were injured. Lincoln Consolidated Schools Superintendent Ellen Bonter said the investigation into what happened Tuesday is underway. More on this story can be found on our local news feeds link on our website at WDEE-TV.com. And coming up next, story number 2, 18-year-olds are accused of robbing a pizza delivery driver and are to face trial.
At Morgan Taylor, buy 2 suits, get a 3rd suit free. Morgan Taylor is located at 133 West Michigan Avenue in Ypsilanti. Clothing and accessories for men, women, and children at Morgan Taylor. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 734-221-0296. Ask about layaways and in-store financing. At Morgan Taylor, buy 2 suits, get a 3rd suit free.
Welcome back to WDEE-TV Headline News, sharing Michigan with the world. We thank our friends at Morgan Taylor. Buy 2 suits, get a 3rd one free, and my thanks to our producer today, Tony D. The second story comes from the Saline Reporter and writer Ben Baird. 2 18-year-olds suspected of a crime spree of robberies targeting pizza delivery drivers in Pittsfield Township, Ypsilanti Township, and Ann Arbor are now facing trial. Kyle Anthony Cryer from Ann Arbor and Corey Michael Duncan from Ypsilanti Township were initially charged with armed robbery for a case from early September 12th at a Motel 6 in Pittsfield Township. They appeared September 30th at 14A1 District Court in Ypsilanti for a preliminary examination of the evidence against them, and both were bound over for trial on a charge of armed robbery, according to the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office. These defendants stood mute on the charge, not entering any plea. Duncan also waived the preliminary on a separate charge of intent to rob while armed, according to the prosecutor's office. Pre-trial hearings have been scheduled for both defendants on November 10th before Judge David Swartz in Washtenaw County Circuit Court. Pittsfield Police worked in conjunction with the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office and Ann Arbor Police Department to arrest the armed robbery suspects, according to a statement from Pittsfield Police. These suspects were arrested September 13th by Ann Arbor Police after a traffic stop was conducted on the suspect's vehicle. More on this story can be found in the local news feeds link on our website at WDEE-TV.com. Coming up next, our third story for today, the Washtenaw County health officials are closely watching all cases of respiratory illness for entrovirus. Welcome back. This is Michael G. Nastos reporting more WDEE-TV headline news coming to you from our studios in Ypsilanti. We thank Visit Ypsi and Morgan Taylor for sponsorship of this newscast. Our next story comes from Heritage West and writer Ben Baird. With one confirmed case of entrovirus D68 in Washtenaw County, a baby who has also developed lower extremity paralysis, and 24 others who've tested positive throughout Michigan, respiratory illness continues to be a concern. Washtenaw County Public Health is monitoring the recent cases and any new information. Susan Ringler Cerniglia, Washtenaw County Public Health Department Public Information Officer, said County Public Health is continuing to communicate with both local medical providers and the Michigan Department of Community Health to learn as much information as possible to pass along to county residents. She said, "This is something we're locally following very closely." They are monitoring the patients who are suffering from symptoms associated with respiratory illness and enterovirus, she said. She added tests are pending for several patients in the county to determine if they have the EVD68. A few others in the county besides the child under 1 year old suffering from EVD68 also have symptoms of paralysis or limb weakness, the county health educator said. Enteroviruses are known to be a rare case of acute neurological disease in children, such as aseptic meningitis or paralysis. She added, "It's typically been very rare, so hopefully it stays that way." Most of these 25 patients throughout Michigan who have tested positive for EVD68 have been hospitalized, according to a statement about these additional cases released September 30th by the Michigan Department of Community Health. A week earlier, only 3 Michigan cases of EVD68 had been confirmed. More on this very important story can be found on our local news feeds link on our website at WDEE-TV.com. Coming up next, 4 Livingston County employees are out amidst a misconduct probe.
At Morgan Taylor, buy 2 suits, get a 3rd suit free. Morgan Taylor is located at 133 West Michigan Avenue in Ypsilanti. Clothing and accessories for men, women, and children at Morgan Taylor. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 734-221-0296. Ask about layaways and in-store financing. At Morgan Taylor, buy 2 suits, get a 3rd suit free.
Welcome back to WDEE-TV headline news for this Friday, October 3rd, coming to you from our studios in Ypsilanti, Michigan, sharing Michigan with the world. And our next story, an interesting one, comes from the Detroit Free Press and writer Jim Totten. One Livingston County information technology employee was fired Monday and 3 others resigned as part of an investigation into alleged misconduct. Quote, "We uncovered information and situations that we simply could not ignore. An internal investigation was performed regarding potential misconduct and misuse of county property and resources, and appropriate actions were taken," County Board of Commissioner Chairwoman Carol Griffith and Vice Chairman Steve Williams wrote in a letter to the board Tuesday. Griffith said it's alleged a few IT employees were storing copyrighted materials on the county network and possibly sharing them with other IT employees. She said there was no selling of software. After an internal investigation, Griffith said 3 employees resigned before any decision was made. She said a 4th was terminated. Officials did not publicly name the employees. The county also informed the Livingston County Sheriff's Department of what happened. Sheriff Bob Bizzotti said that his department is investigating alleged stolen property and improper use of computers. He said the improper use was related to copyright infringement. He said some of these employees are long-term employees. Bizzotti continued, "It's sad how these mistakes led to the end of a career." He said that one employee had 28 years of service and 2 others more than 20 years with the county. More on this story can be found on our local news feeds link on our website at WDEE-TV.com. Coming up, our fifth story, a cyber attack against J.P. Morgan Chase is estimated to have affected a whopping 76 million customers. Welcome back once again to WDEE-TV headline news for this day, coming to you from our studios in downtown Ypsilanti, Michigan. Again, thanks to my producer, Tony D., and for you for tuning in. Our final story, story number 5, coming from the New York Times and writers Jessica Silver Greenberg, Matthew Goldstein, and Nicole Perlroth. A cyber attack this summer on J.P. Morgan Chase compromised the accounts of 76 million households and 7 million small businesses, a tally that dwarfs previous estimates by the bank and puts the intrusion among the highest ever. The details of the breach, disclosed in a securities filing on Thursday, emerged at a time when consumer confidence in the digital operations of corporate America has already been shaken. Target, Home Depot, and a number of other retailers have sustained major data breaches. Last year, the information of 40 million cardholders and 70 million others were compromised at Target, while an attack at Home Depot in September affected 56 million cards. But unlike retailers, J.P. Morgan, as the largest bank in the nation, has financial information in its computer systems that goes beyond customers' credit card details and potentially includes more sensitive data. Quote, "We've migrated so much of our economy to computer networks because they are faster and more efficient, but there are side effects," said Dan Kaminsky, a researcher who works as a chief scientist at y.o.s, a security company. Until just a few weeks ago, executives at J.P. Morgan said they believed that only 1 million accounts were affected. That's enough, according to several people with knowledge of the attacks. As the severity of the intrusion, which began in June but was not discovered until July, became more clear in recent days, bank executives scrambled for the second time in 3 months to contain the fallout and to reassure skittish customers that no money had been taken and that their financial information remained secure. More on this story can be found on our local news feeds link on our website at WDEE-TV.com. Coming up next, the WDEE-TV Weekend Sports and Music Report.
At Morgan Taylor, buy 2 suits, get a 3rd suit free. Morgan Taylor is located at 133 West Michigan Avenue in Ypsilanti. Clothing and accessories for men, women, and children at Morgan Taylor. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 734-221-0296. Ask about layaways and in-store financing. At Morgan Taylor, buy 2 suits, get a 3rd suit free.
Welcome back to WDEE-TV headline news, coming to you from our wonderful studios in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and we have a WDEE-TV headline sports report. EMU quarterback Rob Bolden will return as the starter this weekend. Having reviewed game film against Michigan State, Coach Chris Creighton and offensive coordinator Kalen DeBoer named Bolden as the man for the Eagles in their first Mid-American Conference game of the season Saturday at Akron. Last week was Bolden's first collegiate start at QB in some 2.5 years. Bolden did well in the second half of the MSU game, gaining the coach's endorsement. He passed for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He will now get a full 2 weeks of reps with the starters at practice over Brogan Roback and Reggie Bell. Ex-EMU pitcher Matt Shoemaker is scheduled to start tonight's ALDS game number 2 against the Kansas City Royals in Anaheim. Recovering from an oblique strain, Shoemaker missed the last 2 weeks of the season, but has been throwing and seems ready to go. The Angels, like the Detroit Tigers, are in an 0-1 hole from losses last night. In WDEE-TV headline music and entertainment news, in jazz, the tried-and-true piano-based drums format is utilized by many trios, but the one dubbed Tri-Fi is something special. This weekend, Tri-Fi will be in our area as part of a Midwestern tour and a homecoming of sorts for one member. Drummer Keith Hall came from the jazz program at Western Michigan University and has been splitting time between living and teaching in Kalamazoo and New York City for several years. He joins the excellent pianist Matthew Fries and Phil Palombi on the upright bass, both based in New York City, for shows Friday and Saturday at Cliff Bell's in Detroit. During the past decade, Tri-Fi have been making original music and not simply reinventing standards. While their style has a contemporary feel, it is definitely within the mainstream, straight-ahead tradition of jazz. Their latest CD, a fifth effort for Tri-Fi, is titled Staring Into the Sun. This group is well worth checking out live or on these recordings that we'll show you a sample of live at Cliff Bell's right now. We do encourage you to check out and support artists in their endeavors. Tonight, Charlie Dentel will perform at the Crazy Wisdom Bookstore's Tea Room upstairs on Main Street, and the trio of Tim Haldeman will be at the Elks Pratt Lodge on Sunset, both in Ann Arbor. The great blues and jazz guitarist Duke Robillard plays Callahan's in Auburn Hills, and it's vibraphonist Dr. Dick Tappert and his trio at the Maple Theater Cafe Lounge, Maple Road at Telegraph in Bloomfield Township. Saturday is the Global Cooperation Day for World Peace, so let's cooperate with each other everywhere and stop all the fighting. Cooperate. The Buster Blues Band, featuring guitarist Jeff Esty, will be at the Elks Pratt Lounge, also on Saturday night. Sunday, Marcus Belgrave and friends play the Carr Center in Detroit, and at 2 p.m. at the same time, it's all about the trio with Ellen Rowe paying tribute to the Gershwins. The University of Michigan and Rowe are officially archiving Gershwin's music. That's at Ann Arbor's Carytown Concert House. At 3:30 on Sunday, Washtenaw Community College presents the Ypsilanti Symphony Orchestra and Adam Racinto in a program with the music of John Williams at the Towsley Auditorium of the Morris Lawrence Building. Every Monday now, the Paul Keller Orchestra is back at the Zalgaz Grotto in Ann Arbor on Stadium Boulevard with regular sit-in guests. Next Wednesday, Nick Collins and friends are at the Wolverine State Brewing Company. A reminder, post your events on Facebook. You will receive coverage with us. And that is WDEE-TV headline news for Friday, October 3rd, 2014. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the beauty of the world. So long, everybody. See you next week.